My name is Kristie McKinley. I am a Reiki Master Teacher, and I hope you are well. So, if you've been following me on social media platforms for a while, you've probably noticed that I kind of really haven't been posting anything new. I've been sharing some things. I I love the journey that I have been on, especially since becoming a Reiki practitioner, but most especially the last 3 years, 3, 4, 5 years, and I have always skirted the surface of asking myself the question of what makes me happy, what lights me up, and I have never or rarely taken the time to think about my life as I am living it. And just recently, through a series of what I have referred to as deep solitude hermit um, living, realized that I have been living a patchwork blanket, a quilt, if you will, of other people's lives. And I know I'm not the only one who's been doing this. I think in a way we kind of all have until we have actively done the work of breaking apart piece by piece the parts of ourselves, one that definitely enjoy living, but the parts that we don't feel a connection to, we out and out don't like, but for whatever reason we haven't made that change. And part of the reason I know is like fear of change. Our brains are, designed to keep us safe, so that, it draws, it calls to the familiar. But very rarely do we feel safe enough to challenge those mundane parts of us, those parts that we know don't really speak to us, but we're not really sure how to go about it. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about Reiki is that at its core, you are you are guided, you are supported to take full responsibility for your own well-being. But lots of times when we're stuck in that habit, stuck in that habit, in the habit of sameness, that because it feels safe, even though it doesn't light us up, there are very few chances for us to safely step outside of that line, that boundary we've set for ourselves, to reestablish a new line, a new wall, a new boundary. And it's it's scary at first because it is a change, but once you've made that change, and especially if you realize it feels small but huge at the same time, but equally as important, there's opportunity for more change and more stretching and more boundary making, readjustments, reline settlements. And so that is why I have added a new type of session, distance Reiki, with creating a custom meditation for you. So the first part of the session is the same old traditional distance Reiki sessions that I always have, where we do, we talk about what's coming up after you fill out an intake form and just kind of focus on what's coming up for you in that moment. And then during that part, we kind of talk about the things that are most important to you, the things that are coming to the surface. Take a bit of a bathroom break, and then come back and we do the meditation where we incorporate all of those things and those goals and those dreams that you have. And you create you begin to create a new life for yourself that you begin to love. And that kind of speaks to and spills over into so many other things in our lives that um, are important. And I think a lot of the things that are coming up for me now is kind of nervousness, because this is a new thing for me. I know, again, doing this work on myself, that doing new things make me especially nervous. And I've been really just face to face with my own levels of anxiety, and some of the depression that kind of comes in because recovering people pleaser and overgiver. I want to do a really good job. I want to be my best self and show up the best I can for me, so that I can show up the best for all the folks that I help. But I have to. It's imperative for me to get through the uncomfortableness of not saying all the words right the way I want to in my head and my heart, and know that as long as I continue to move forward and show up and do this work, all the things that are meant to the surface and become public out of my mouth are the things that are meant to be, meant to do. meant to have. And just so if you are willing to come along on that journey of me with me, for me to help you figure out whose life you are living, and if it is a life that's not entirely yours, helping you feel safe enough to make small incremental changes into a life that lights you up and makes you happy and helps you be your best, super awesome, wonderful, loving, compassionate self, or at least, if nothing else, help you get into the habit of giving yourself more compassion and love and trust for yourself so that you can continue to connect and do the things that light you up and make you happy so that life just feels easier even when it's still being lifey and weird and odd and all the beautiful things that it does for us in our own way. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to comment below or message me. And if you are ready to book a session to get you started on taking those steps to creating a life you love, create a life that's yours or more yours than anything that it has possibly ever been up until this point, I invite you to either book a session with just distance Reiki, or if you would like to have a meditation piece added to it, to the distance Reiki and a meditation session, um, either or, be great. So I love you, and you are doing an amazing job just by the simple fact that you are here, showing up, trying to do the thing, even if it feels scary and weird and doesn't feel natural. If it's meant for you, you were meant to have a life you love. So I love you, and I would be honored to be on that journey with you. Take care. Be well. Namaste.